Welcome in Chiefs Kingdom to Chiefs Latest, your one-stop spot for everything Kansas City Chiefs in 15 minutes or less. It is your host Calvin Silvers. Happy Monday. Man, we had a crazy last week. We had the Trey Smith extension and we had the Rashee Rice sentencing. You thought maybe we would just catch a nice little break over the weekend, but that did not happen. The Chiefs had two athletes sign their name across the dotted line. We'll jump into it in a second, but before we do, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and make sure you turn on those notifications because we have daily, that's right, I said daily videos here at Chiefs Latest, Monday through Friday. You're not going to want to miss any of the action, so hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications as it not only helps me in the channel, but it's going to help you stay up to date with everything Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I mentioned the Chiefs had two athletes sign their name across the dotted line for new contracts, and well, Sunday was the big one because the Chiefs rewarded defensive end George Karlaftis, of course, for his relentless play, a great first 3 seasons in the league. They're signing him to a 4-year, $93 million extension. Well deserved, of course, with $62 million guaranteed, including $5 million in incentives. He's going to be in Kansas City through the year 2030. Now, Karlaftis is a 2022 first-round pick from Purdue, and he has been a cornerstone up front. He has started all 17 games as a rookie, and he's played in every regular season and postseason game since, except for when Andy Reid rests his starters towards the end of the season because the Chiefs are always in a prime position. But the Chiefs, who hadn't used a first-round pick on a defensive lineman since Datari Poe, that's right, had to bring that name back up. That was back in 2012. And the Chiefs are refusing to repeat, their Jared Allen mistake. Now, Allen was a future Hall of Famer. He racked up 27 and a half sacks and 163 tackles in his first 3 years with KC, but was traded to Minnesota back in 2008. Now, Karlaftis, on the other end, has 24 and a half sacks. That matches Allen's pace. And though his 115 tackles, aren't quite to that level of Allen's, his 15 pass deflections totally crush what Allen ever had. So this matters because it gives your defense some stability. Again, 24 and a half sacks, 56 QB pressures, 15 pass deflections over 3 seasons, plus a career-high 28 pressures and 4 postseason sacks last year. It makes him a vital clog on the line. You have to have someone like this. He's shown so much potential early that you just can't let him go. Again, relentless motor. Pair that with Jones, that's going to counter some pass-heavy offenses that you're going to see in the AFC. And again, you're avoiding this bad history by extending Karlaftis, of course, before his $3.8 million cap hit, then his $15.2 fifth-year option. You don't want that to balloon, and you don't want to avoid losing another star. You don't want history to repeat itself. 115 tackles, 24 and a half sacks, 24 tackles for loss with 8 postseason sacks in 10 games in his career in 3 seasons. That's all just 3 seasons worth of work. Again, last year, 28 quarterback hits, 35 tackles, 5 pass deflections, 61 pressures. He just adds into this, DN room. Mike Dana, Charles Omenihu, Andy DK Uzama. You got, Gelati, your rookie. You need to reduce pressure on Jones. So this extension, coming off a career best, grades from PFF, his technique has improved greatly. I think that locks in a rising star who's already matching what we saw with Jared Allen's early pace. This is Brett Veach learning from history, and I'm glad that they extended him now. But of course, there was another signing, and this was Omar Norman Lott. Finally got it done. They finally locked in their entire 2025 draft class. Again, signing second-round defensive tackle Omar Norman Lott to a deal just before training camp starts this week at Missouri Western. Now, we know he was selected number 63rd overall from Tennessee. He was the last rookie holdout for the Chiefs due to the second-rounders this year, demanding more guaranteed money. That's was sparked by the top selections in the second round. Everyone wants to get, fully guaranteed deals. While his 18.9% pass rush win rate in 2024, that was the highest among FBS defensive tackles. I think that makes him, a good fit next to Chris Jones. I don't know if this is going to be potentially what the Chiefs think it can be. But again, Jones played a career-high 83% of defensive snaps in 2024 at his old age of 30. So, keeping Jones's snap count, a little light, I think that's critical, especially as he just gets older. And the Chiefs jumped on Norman Lott just a tad too early, probably a round earlier than most projections. Again, you want to pair him with Karlaftis 8 sacks. You want to bolster your pass rush that dipped from 57 sacks in 2023 to 39 in 2024. But his signing makes sure that he won't miss camp, and that's huge because, the league rules that people that are unsigned can participate. So his pass rush is going to fill gaps left by Deshaun Wharton, Derek Nottie. You just need him to get early reps. 27 pressures in 2024 on just 225 snaps gives Jones breathing room. And again, just 225 snaps, you might be saying, well, is that going, should we question his stamina? Well, he's only going to be coming in every so often to, light the load on Chris Jones. So I think that's good. You want to preserve the all-pro for, key AFC West battles down the stretch. But the Chiefs sack total dropping, you just want something explosive, and I think Norman Locke could have that. I think this could spark, Spags defense once again. In Tennessee last year, 18 tackles, 4 sacks, 4 tackles for loss. In his career, 89 tackles, 13 and a half sacks, 17 tackles for loss over 5 seasons, 3 at Arizona State and 2 at Tennessee. Again, limited college snaps, 225 in 2024. You could argue that that suggests untapped potential, so that, he could have a big 2025, 26 year, especially if he develops, he could be big down the line. So I think it was a must. This was a second rounder. You can't just let a second rounder not participate early on. You need him to get the reps. You need to see what you have with them. Again, potential high upside pass rusher. I don't know if this is exactly what the Chiefs think it is, but it's better to get him out there now than to wait. Now, is Brett Veach done signing? See, and should the Chiefs just, this is what we have, let's roll with it? I don't think so. I think the signs say no, because if we look at Brett Veach's history, I think there's another big deal coming. And of course, he loves to keep the Chiefs core intact. Well, last summer, the Chiefs dropped 3 major extensions: Harrison Butker, Creed Humphrey, and Noah Gray. We've seen 2 so far this summer. Who could be that third one? I think it could be Trent McDuffie. But again, this shows that Veach has a knack for locking in talent during this window of time. Again, I think it's Trent McDuffie's turn. The NFL cornerback market is on fire. Of course, Sauce Gardner just snagged a 4-year, $124 million deal with the Jets. That makes him the highest paid corner at $30.1 million average. Derek Stingley, he's at $90 million. J.C. Horn, $100 million. This bar has been reset this offseason. Now, there's a couple years left on his rookie deal with no free agency until 2027. So the Chiefs, yeah, they can wait. But every day you wait, the price is going to climb. Last September, we saw Patrick Surtain sign a $96 million deal. That was top. And now he's 5th among the cornerbacks. So again, we saw this last season, Butker in August, Humphrey in August, Gray in September. That suggests that I think more signings, at least one more signing, is coming the way for the Chiefs. McDuffie's elite. You have to have him. He is that defensive anchor for the secondary. His elite coverage, 80.6 PFF grade, 9th among cornerbacks. Again, the cap pressure with extensions and more flexibility in 2025 cap space, locking in McDuffie now could save you millions down the road. In his career, 183 tackles, 14 QB hits, 7 forced fumbles, 27 pass deflections, and 2 interceptions. Last season, PFF grades 83.1 overall. That was 3rd among corners. 80.6 coverage. That was 9th among corners. So I think Chiefs get this deal done soon. Veach must act fast before the corner market just skyrockets past $30 million. And as I mentioned, training camp starting this week. Of course, we are already getting updates. Andy Reid dropping some big updates on Sunday as the Chiefs were arriving to Missouri Western. He is confirming that Rashee Rice will be a full participant in training camp. Now, this is coming just 3 days after his 30-day jail sentence and a 5-year probation for a March 2024 Dallas crash that injured multiple people. Now, Reid said he hasn't heard from the NFL on Rice's expected suspension. He's just saying, quote, "We're going to progress as normal with him," end quote, with Rice taking full reps while others rotate, ready to step up if needed. Now, the Chiefs start camp with 3 players on the physically unable to perform list, also known as the PUP list. Of course, you have Jawan Taylor with his knee surgery, cornerback Christian Fulton with a knee alignment, and tight end Trey Watson. Now, both Taylor, the starting right tackle, and Fulton, a free agent signing, are expected to start, and they were already limited in June's minicamp. Now, Reid confirmed first-round pick Josh Simmons won't be limited, thank goodness. He's going to be starting at left tackle with Jalen Moore at right tackle while Taylor recovers. Of course, this all matters because with Rice's status, full camp participation keeps him sharp for Mahomes, but we could see a looming 2 to 4 game suspension. That's what the organization thinks could happen. There's a possibility it could be more than that. It could be more 6 games plus. So you want him getting a spark from Mahomes early, just getting that going, just having that connection early. Well, Rice in 2023, his breakout year, 79 catches, 938 yards, 7 touchdowns. Last season, 24 catches, 288 yards, 2 touchdowns in 4 games before his injury. Bolton had a 71.1 PFF grade. That was 40th among corners and a stellar 79.3 run defense grade. He's a legit, second, third corner and an upgrade over what the Chiefs have with Johnson and Williams. So Reed's full go status is a win, but of course the pup list is something to be looking out for, and the suspension looming large also will be looking out for. But Simmons and Moore stepping up, I think that's going to set the tone. I think that's going to be a position to watch, and I think training camp's going to be a lot of fun. Well, that was Monday's episode. Thank you for tuning in. I am your host, Calvin Silvers. Again, daily videos here at Cheifs Latest. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I'll even give you a few seconds. All right, should be done. Glad you hit that subscribe button. Turn on those notifications. Let me know down in the comments what you think about Karlaftis getting an extension, finally signing Amar Norman-Lott. Who's next? Do you think Trent McDuffie will get a deal done soon? And what do you think about Rice? Do you think he's going to have a 2 to 4 game suspension or longer than that? Again, I am your host, Calvin Silvers. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, have a good one.